Hello and welcome back to GoldStockTrades.com. Today we have with us Al Shefsky, CEO of Pele Mountain Resources. Pele can be traded as GEM on the TSX Venture. Thanks, Al, for being here with us today.
Hi, Jeb. Thank you very much for having us on the program.
Al, can you talk to us about some of the fundamentals and supply-demand, both in the uranium sector and the rare earth sector?
Sure, Jeb. What we're seeing is some really important developments on the supply and demand fundamentals for both uranium and rare earths. And starting with uranium, there's been a big change in Japan recently with the election of this new government, which is, by all accounts, a pro-nuclear development government. And so we're optimistic now that over the coming months we're going to see anywhere from 35 to 40 of the idle Japanese reactors coming back online. And that obviously is going to create a boost in the demand for uranium. So that's a bullish factor. And then I just heard today that new Prime Minister, Abe, he's been saying, that he's even going to propose new reactors be built. And that's really amazing because he understands that had they been using the later generation, the new generation of nuclear reactors, that problem they suffered at Fukushima would have not happened. So I think they're forward thinking about it, and it's going to really increase the demand for uranium as those Japanese reactors come back online. In addition to that, we're seeing 2013 will bring the end of the megatons to megawatts supply from Russia, which is about 25 million pounds a year of uranium supply. So you've got both the supply and the demand factors that are showing up in the marketplace are really very bullish for the price going forward. We're also seeing new incremental demand coming into the market from the 60 reactors that are currently under construction, and those are moving along nicely. And so, lots and lots of new demand coming into the uranium market. Supply looks like it's going to be pinched off to the tune of 25 million pounds a year, and the combination of these two factors plus the new reactors that are being planned, there's so much talk because of the need for reducing the carbon footprint out there that there's going to be more and more nuclear reactors being built globally, and it just looks very bullish for uranium prices going forward.
And talk to us about the Eco Ridge mine in Elliot Lake, where your deposit has this great leverage to the uranium price and can offset the costs that go towards the rare earth production.
Absolutely. Just a little background on Elliot Lake. It was a famous uranium mining camp and produced over 300 million pounds of uranium historically. So uranium's a big part of the picture. It's also the only place in Canada that ever produced rare earths commercially, and it was the major source of the heavy rare earths in North America historically. So it's got both, and I think it's somewhat unique in that respect that the deposit in Elliot Lake has the uranium and the rare earths together in the mineralization, and the heavy rare earths are associated with the uraninite, the uranium minerals, and the coffinite. So that's why the recovery of the heavy rare earths has been good, and it's been an excellent source of heavy rare earths historically from these uranium-bearing quartz pebble conglomerates. The uranium, our economic model calls for average annual production of about 2.7 million pounds of uranium annually. So that's a fair bit of uranium, and just over 4,000 tons of rare earth oxides annually. So it's a big production scenario, and with 2.7 million pounds of uranium annually, you can see if there's an increase in the price of uranium, it doesn't take long for that to add up into very substantial numbers. So the economic model is very sensitive to the price of uranium, and it's highly leveraged to the price of uranium. And so, for investors who believe that the price of uranium is going to move up in the coming months and years, the exposure to, Eco Ridge provides exposure to the uranium and leverage as well. So It's a tremendous opportunity. It's a really big deposit. Comes right up to the surface. It outcrops for 5 kilometers. It's been drilled off, and there's very substantial 43-101 resources, and we've also completed an updated 43-101 preliminary economic assessment, which was very positive, and so we're getting ready now to take the next steps to move this project forward.
So Al, talk to us about the next steps going into 2013.
Okay, so right now our main focus is to move the project into the feasibility and licensing stage, and then that's about a 3-year process that we anticipate in order to get the license to build the mine, and then the next stage would be to construct the mine and bring it into production. As we move forward into the next stage, we're looking at the opportunity to raise funds for the licensing and feasibility process through strategic alliances, partnerships, and long-term offtake agreements. That's the way we're going to keep the dilution of the current capitalization to a minimum. So there is a lot of interest out there right now. We've entered into discussions with a number of end users, both utility companies on the uranium side and other end users on the rare earth side, and we're moving forward with those discussions.
As we conclude, Al, could you talk to us about the local geopolitical support up at Elliot Lake and some of the attractiveness of the infrastructure there?
Oh, absolutely, Jeb. Because there were 12 mines there historically, the infrastructure is just tremendous. It's got roads, power, highway goes right through the corner of the property. There's an airport a few hundred meters off the west of the property. There's deep water ports just down on the north shore of Lake Huron. Major power line going right through the property. So, this is a mining camp. And it's one of the great Canadian mining camps historically, and this infrastructure is just tremendous, and obviously that has a big impact on reducing capital to get started and the timelines as well. And it is a race, Jeb, as you know, when it comes to the rare earths right now. There's a race on to get new supplies of critical rare earths into production outside of China. And I think that's where Pele Mountain really has distinguished itself as a clear leader in that race to bring new supplies to market. And from the geopolitical aspect, we've got strong support in the local community. Elliot Lake was, as I mentioned, it was a great Canadian mining camp. They're proud of their heritage. It was a very prosperous community when the mines were in operation, and it would be great for the community to get another important mine going. So we do have strong support, for which we're really grateful, and we're honored to be working in such a wonderful community. And we're looking forward to delivering long-term benefits for Elliot Lake, for the surrounding communities, and of course for our own shareholders.
Well, thank you, Al, for giving us an update going into 2013.
It's been a pleasure, Jeb. Thank you very much, and we're really excited about the new year.